China is lying to you, and they're terrified you'll find out the truth. Ooh, I just got this message from Xi Jinping saying, please stop watching China Uncensored right now. Welcome to China Uncensored, I'm Chris Chappell, and here's a quick update on Operation Honeypot. I think we've scored an important victory. Back in November, views on China Uncensored and other big anti-CCP YouTubers like Serpenzetta and LaoY86 tanked. At the same time that YouTube started heavily promoting pro-CCP content. My YouTube rep said that was just because people didn't want to watch China Uncensored. They wanted the pro-CCP content. Well, you helped us fight back by leaving honeypot emoji comments on each episode to prove that you actually want to watch China Uncensored. That, plus a little behind-the-scenes stuff we've been doing to pressure YouTube, seems to be paying off. Views are back up. We even had one episode get over 1 million views, and it's been years since YouTube's allowed that to happen. But this is just a taste of how China Uncensored would be performing if it wasn't being suppressed. So keep posting those honeypot emojis. If you see a China Uncensored episode on your feed, click on it, and most importantly, watch until the end of the episode. And at the end of this episode, I'll tell you something else you can do. Now, on with the show. So if you listen to Chinese propaganda, which I hope you don't, you'd believe China is a super advanced modern society that will totally crush America. But also isn't America's enemy? Please trade with us. Except this is all smoke and mirrors. The real China is something the CCP desperately wants to keep hidden. And one of the ways they do that is by simply not publishing data when it doesn't look good. A big recent example of that was when youth unemployment got so bad, they just stopped reporting the numbers. But that was just the tip of the iceberg. According to the Wall Street Journal, China recently has stopped publishing hundreds of statistics, making it impossible to know what's going on in the country. And what they've stopped reporting gives you an idea of how bizarrely paranoid the CCP is. For example, the size of elementary school toilets. And no, I'm not joking. They stopped reporting that data back in 2022 and only recently resumed. I can only imagine the high-level cloak and dagger discussions behind the decision at the highest ranks of the CCP. Maybe this is why Xi just purged one of his top generals. Now I can only speculate on why the size of elementary school toilets became a sensitive issue, but let me try to read the tea leaves a little bit. It might have something to do with Xi Jinping's toilet revolution. Yes, Xi Jinping had a toilet revolution. It's literally his crappiest idea ever. Given how obsessed China is with public image, especially when it involves infrastructure and public services, Xi Jinping was not happy that China was known for toilets like this. So he ordered officials to make toilets nicer across China. And in their terror, some took it too far. I'm talking refrigerators, microwave ovens, LCD televisions, and automatic shoe polishers in public toilets. And then she began a crackdown on 5-star restrooms as the toilet revolution spiraled out of control. You can see why officials might want to cover up data. It's basically impossible not to get purged now. So maybe covering up the size of elementary school toilets was part of that. They also stopped reporting the nation's soy sauce numbers. Man, this is a weird episode. The Wall Street Journal says official soy sauce production data stopped appearing in May 2021 and hasn't returned. This is also speculation, but maybe China doesn't want to show that kind of data because doing so sends larger industrial and trade signals it would rather keep hidden, such as consumer behavior and population size. Or perhaps it would draw attention to the distrust in Chinese food safety caused by fake brand name sauces. 100 men fighting one gorilla have better odds of survival than ingesting some Chinese gutter oil. Now those were just some fun examples. Here are some that aren't. They stopped reporting cremations. And notice that stops during the start of COVID. During the first year and a half of the pandemic, China officially said only 4 people died. Very believable. But footage like this began leaking out of piles of dead bodies. Pesky Western journalists started reporting.
The burning can't go fast enough.
The smoke behind me, it's been billowing constantly from all the bodies that are burning, and these crates over here, they're all full of yellow body bags.
Sure sounds like a lot more than 4 people died. Gee, I wonder why they stopped reporting cremation numbers. And that also explains why the health ministry stopped releasing the number of people unaliving themselves, as millions of Chinese people were locked in their homes during China's draconian zero COVID policy. But this isn't just about COVID. This also covers the catastrophic population collapse China is facing. Some are saying China's real population is not 1.4 billion.
It's somewhere between 300 and 400 million.
I know that sounds shocking, but frankly, the only source for 1.4 billion people is the Chinese government, and as we've seen, they aren't the most trustworthy. Part of this could be local officials inflating their numbers to look good to their higher-ups. One piece of information that could give us a clue to how many babies are actually being born is the tuberculosis vaccination rates. In the mid-2000s, a Chinese demographer, Yi Fuxian, questioned the accuracy of China's population data. I know, can you believe it? He argued that the tuberculosis vaccinations were a better measure of population growth because every newborn in China is required to be vaccinated. Guess what they don't report anymore? Data helps paint a clear, precise picture, and right now, the picture painted by China's data is more haphazard than a Jackson Pollock. Yeah, I make art history and toilet jokes. I'm a man of layers. But one of the most sensitive things the CCP shoves into its data black hole is economic data, especially in the face of Trump's tariff war on China. Officially, the Chinese economy is exceeding expectations. Based on what data, you may ask? Even Chinese leaders know that China's GDP is man-made and unreliable, just like everything else that's made in China. In 2022, then Premier Li Keqiang admitted that over 600 million people were earning $140 a month. In late 2024, Gao Shanwen, the chief economist at SDIC Securities and a former central bank official, said, "We do not know the true number of China's real growth figure." He was silenced, and the party put out the message, "Be positive or else. They'll turn you into just another statistic." And we've already seen how quick they are to destroy statistics. This is why China stopped publishing daily global stock flows, national land sales, the number of people receiving unemployment insurance benefits, and more. It just goes on and on. On the bright side, at least no one will freeze to death in China thanks to all the gaslighting. Obviously, the worse China's economy becomes, the more information China's going to hide. You certainly won't see China publicly report on anything that makes it look bad, like the number of worker protests, which have been on the rise in recent years. That's why economists have turned to alternative sources, such as movie box office revenues, satellite data on the intensity of nighttime lights, the operating rates of cement factories, and electricity generation by major power companies. Some are even looking at China's gyms and beauty salons for data. Just don't try to figure out how many toilets they have. Unfortunately, far too many people still believe China's propaganda at face value. This is why we need your support to expose the CCP's true nature to as many people as possible. If only YouTube weren't soft censoring us, we'd be getting so many more views. Luke wrote to me and said the last episode was the first time he's been recommended a video in over 2 years, despite being a subscriber. But we figured out a way around YouTube not telling you about new episodes. We have a new free weekly newsletter that will have all the episodes that came out that week, even the ones YouTube didn't notify you about, plus exclusive analysis you won't see anywhere else. The link is below. Don't forget to leave that honeypot emoji comment below. Once again, I'm Chris Chappell. Thank you for watching.